The following podcast contains spoilers.
This is the Buntarelli Show.
All right, I'm Joe. Of course, I got my virtual co-host, Bob, with me. How'd you feel about this episode of the, I was about to say The Mandalorian. How'd you feel about this episode of Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah, it was awesome, and it's funny. It started off, I said the same thing. Like, am I watching the same show?
Yeah,
and it is a sequel of the last show.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I'm thinking as I'm watching it, like, oh, here they go again. Like, if you didn't watch The Mandalorian, like, well, wait, nobody didn't watch the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
and watch this. Everyone watching this knows it's coming from there. It's a sequel.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was great. And it's funny because it started up and I heard the whistle.
Yeah.
For his theme song, and I knew it was him, and I was embarrassed that last week I didn't, like, how did I not catch that? How did I not remember that was his song?
Because it was so settled.
It's such a small clip of it, and it was so low in volume. It just,
it was so subtle. It was meant to be like if you caught it or you didn't catch it. You know what I mean? But it was just the people that caught it. But it was very like, she says the last word. That music hits and it goes into the ending credits. So it was more like, oh, I see it. I heard it. But, it did exactly what I wanted it to do, and it kind of needed that much time because the whole thing I wanted was, if you would have went the route of you just bring Mando as a get just pops in and everybody claps their hands, that would have been cool. But I think he deserves a little more than that. Like I said, I want to know where he's at and where's his head at.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the Book of Boba exists. I don't know that I guess they exist because of him, because, Boba Fett in his own right is awesome. But, man, that is a Mandalorian season 3. So bring him back in. And where it was really cool too is, opening right up with it right away was awesome.
Yeah.
And when it was really cool was at the first scene happens and it goes to like the next scene. And then you see it's following him still, and you're like, "Oh, it's going to keep going."
Yeah,
that was my favorite part.
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh, okay, oh, we're in. That's awesome."
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. The change of scenery was good. I think the show kind of needed that just to get because it's just the story takes place on Tatooine, and it's nobody's fault. But the flashbacks are Tatooine. So it's like it's almost like let's go take a break. Let's go see something else before we get back, because we know everything's lined up for the Tatooine battle. So yeah, like I said, Mandalorian. And here's another thing: Boba Fett and Mandalorian are so like the way they kind of went back into Mandalorian backstory. It was like, okay, they're getting kind of deep into that thing, but it's kind of is a part, like it or whatever Boba Fett thinks about it. He's wearing that armor, so it is a part of Boba Fett. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Boba Fett is a Mandalorian.
Yeah, so
right? That's what this was.
Well, Jango Fett was a foundling, and Boba has the armor. I don't think from when Boba talks about Mandalorian stuff, he doesn't seem to care one way or another. Like he uses it as it's his right to his armor. But even when he was dealing with the other Mandalorians, he was like, Mandalore, that planet was turned to glass. And like, I swear my allegiance to no one. He just. He recognizes the culture, and he recognizes the armor, Beskar. And you know what? Maybe they need to delve into that a little more too. His stance.
That is an interesting part of it. Yeah. Because it brought back, it was cool seeing Mandalorian again, and reminded me the whole thing of how his faction versus his faction, or however you want to call it, was so much different
than the traditional Mandalorians.
And that was the first time in this season that I thought about, like, okay, well, what are Boba Fett's positions on these traditions and things?
Yeah, because he's like kind of a foundling, but he did take his helmet off. But maybe he's a foundling that's not the Watch. It's not that it doesn't contradict itself. It's just different. His experience is different than Din Djarin. And then you got like Bo-Katan, who's a traditional Mandalorian who doesn't care about the helmet either. So everything's kind of. Yeah, it's just kind of like mixed up and stuff. But it's like I want to know, like,
in an interesting way.
Yeah, in an interesting way. Not that and they are aware of it. They make it, even when they told about they finally showed us the destruction of Mandalore, the Night of 1,000 Tears. That scene was pretty cool. Did you catch any Terminator vibes in that scene? I was like,
no, I caught what did you had a little bit of Iron Giant going.
Yeah.
Meets Matrix.
Yeah.
I thought it was Matrix with the flying things over the. But yeah, now that you say it, I could see Terminator also.
Well, those are all classic Star Wars droids. It's just the scene.
Like you said, the change of scenery.
Yeah.
Was a huge. I think that was a huge thing because, you have the different worlds, and it's the different worlds, and it's the different movies.
Yeah.
So you have Tatooine, but then the world that they were at, and on that it was like it's like a whole like city, like a whole floating city that he was in, where he's walking around.
It was almost
I
like
don't want to say spaceship.
It was like a space station city or something.
Yeah.
It was like a
like exactly.
And it might have even been like a space airport, because that's where I think he left from that thing. He took like the airliner. I like the idea of like spaceship airplanes, because it's like, not everybody owns a spaceship probably. So it just kind of show like some like public transportation. It's a good concept. Like, not everybody in Mando didn't have a ship. His ship got blown up.
Yeah, it's practical. It's like, okay, well, if there is spaceships, that doesn't mean that everyone's going to have one. I mean, not even everyone has cars.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah. But seeing that again, because that's the first time that there was never a hint of that in Mandalorian. So it's almost like it took you to a different movie. Like, oh yeah, it's that Star Wars.
Yeah.
It isn't just like, oh, okay, Star Wars goes to Tatooine, and then this is where the show just stays here in its little world.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they're still in the world where there's these, flying space cities.
Yeah.
And
there's other stuff happening.
And these battles going on out in space, where people are just, sitting on these big space buses. And
I like how he cuts himself with a Darksaber. And I remembered, I was like, wait, that's right. He hasn't used this thing yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's the first time, because he just won it. He never has handled it before. So that was neat. And then he's talking to the Watch about it. They covered some of the Bo-Katan stuff, which was cool.
Okay, yeah, like he has the saber because he won the battle for it.
Yeah.
Did he have to use, but he didn't use the saber in the battle. So then he uses the saber in the battle against the other guy. Why did he even bother using it? Like, if you didn't have to use it, and you're wearing an outfit with all these weapons that you're very good with.
Yeah. It was just a duel.
I was surprised he even bothered to use it.
Yeah, it was just a duel of, you just have to beat somebody in battle. That was it.
Yeah.
And claim the Darksaber. And even though the other guy actually grabbed the Darksaber, the Mando actually won the fight, and they just called it. It was
but Mando was trying to use it, wasn't he? I got mixed up who was who in that fight, and I actually thought Mando lost. So,
he was losing, and he got at the end. Yeah, he's got two helmets just wrestling around with each other. Like, looking ahead.
Yeah, we could put like a sticker on one of them or something, or highlight one a different color.
Oh, that Mando that was the other Mandalorian that was fighting him, that was voiced by Jon Favreau. I caught that on the IMDb.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, let me stick myself in wherever I can. Do voices and stuff.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I would too. You know what I mean? I was like, you know what? I'm going to be that guy.
Oh, yeah, our kids would be in it. That they'd be the ones running around on the plane.
Oh, yeah,
That was Jon Favreau's kid that was in the suit in the bus thing looking out the window.
Yes, she's credited too, but I don't see like her last name be is like Arden Voiles, but I'm like, is she somebody's kid? Because she's lucky her.
Yeah, good for her.
He's talking about Grogu to the armorer, like, that he's right back on that track, that he wants to go visit him and stuff. There's a couple things about that. When you get into like, where is Grogu? Grogu's with Luke. Okay.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, now
Grogu went off with him, but I didn't even think like, okay, he's going to see Grogu. He's like, oh, we might see Luke again.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't see him getting there without seeing Luke. Okay, that brings up a bunch of interesting things. One is, does it change? Because Luke obviously has a shift in how he feels about the Jedi stuff, because he really all he knows is from Obi-Wan and Yoda. But the way the armor was like, oh well, Jedi can't have attachment, this and that. I wonder if Luke's going to have a different, more grown perspective on that kind of stuff. Like, because if you go back to the fall of Anakin, and it's whatever Luke knows about it, I'm assuming he's going to find out more. Maybe he's like, no, you could be attached, but you can't, because it's obvious to Jedi, whatever they think they knew, they blew it with Anakin. You go back to that story.
Yeah.
The Jedi let that whole thing slip through their fingers, and they weren't paying attention. So, and the other thing is Luke in the Jedi Temple? Because that's a very big possibility. Because Coruscant was like a big hubbub of like the reigning power, which was the Republic, then became the Empire. So is it like, did Luke retake the temple? That'd be pretty cool to see.
Wow, yeah, that's a whole. You can have a whole show on that in itself.
I think it might tie in too. But what'd you think of the new ship, Mando's new ship?
Oh, that was cool. That was real cool. And I wasn't quite sure where I seen it, and it was cool because they did the race, and it all brought it back. That was from New Hope or what? Not New. I get all
the Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Now it wasn't the actual ship was the Naboo starfighter. So it was the one that Anakin's flying at the end. It's not
okay.
It was a Naboo, almost like a Naboo X-wing, because she says commissioned by the Queen of Naboo, which is basically Luke's mom, Padme. But
yeah, that part I caught, but I didn't know which. I couldn't remember which movie, and I couldn't also remember if it was what the kid used. Well, it wouldn't have been what the kid used then. I knew it was from those movies, but I didn't know if it was what the kid was using the race, because that looked like where they had the race.
But he used it at the end when he blew up the what is it? The Trade Federation ship. He goes, now this is pod racing. Remember when they go, hey, wait in that ship, Anakin?
Oh, yeah.
And he takes R2 with him. That's why he's like, why'd you hollow out the droid port? Because R2 was in the ship with Anakin. But where he raced, Beggar's Canyon, and I especially know, not almost so much Star Wars stuff, but when Phantom Menace came out, I think it was GameCube, but they made an awesome. Did you ever play that pod racing game with me?
Yes.
They made an awesome.
That game was awesome.
I wish they would bring it back. That game was so cool. And
it was so fast.
Beggar's Canyon was like the first board, I think. But Beggar's Canyon, he basically went where Anakin went during the pod race. It was Beggar's Canyon.
Yeah. Yep. Now, did you catch the thing with the animal? Did you catch the joke there when he turned around to go for that? You seen the animal and then he went to go turn around?
No.
When Mando goes to see the new ship and there's that animal and it tries to eat one of the little robots.
Oh.
And they never say what the animal is, right?
Okay.
So there's that. So like then you see that same animal or that same kind of animal on that thing that he's racing the ship on.
Oh.
I'm thinking, remember when Luke made the joke or when Luke was talking about how he could shoot
Womp
into the
rats.
Death Star? Yeah, he said, I could hit a Womp rat.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. I think that was a Womp rat because it's on Tatooine.
Yeah.
And he was going back to shoot it. I think that's where that. Yeah, I think he was going to go to. I think that's exactly what it was, and that explains too. Is like that's the whole scene where the wombat was stealing one of the little things. It was like, oh, okay, that's why they did that whole thing. So Mando doesn't look like a jerk for just killing this random animal that's on this racetrack. And then that's when I thought wombat. I'm like, holy crap, that's wombat. That's what. Is that what it was? Wombat.
Womp rat.
I wrote womp rat.
Yeah.
I wrote. Wombat. I'm like, no, that's a real animal, isn't it? That's not it.
I think so.
Womp
yeah.
rat. Yeah. Womp rat. That's right.
I always had that fantasy in my head if they showed like, they could do it. They could do it in Obi-Wan. If Obi-Wan's looking after Luke, depending when the story takes place, Obi-Wan, because I almost had a fan fiction in my head of Obi-Wan watching a pod race with Luke, just watching from afar in the stands, and then like.
Huh.
Maybe talking to the ghost of Qui-Gon or watching a race together or something.
Oh, there could be a kid Luke in there is what you're saying.
Yeah.
There definitely could be. I don't know. Did the numbers work out? He was what, 50, 60?
Yeah, because
he was an old man.
Because Obi-Wan took Luke to Tatooine and gave him back to his uncle. And then Obi-Wan just kind of hung out on Tatooine to watch over Luke. So he's there the whole time Luke's there. So
yeah.
Wherever the show starts, it's going to be a young kid Luke, maybe a baby, depending, but they're not going to make him like, a young, it's going to be still early. I think it's supposed to take like place 10 years after. So yeah, maybe a 10-year-old Luke or something. But it'd be something cool to see, like a little run-in with him or something.
Oh yeah. Like, yeah. Luke Skywalker. How would that not be cool?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hold on. We had a little Anakin, and that didn't go so well.
Yeah. True that.
Yeah.
But at least now we're expecting it, So maybe just have him on a pod race and not say too much.
Oh God, then the Misa guy, might see him again.
Oh,
too.
John
I guess I'll bring
Misa,
everybody back.
So Mando gets hassled by the cops, and I think one of those Republic guys was one of the guys he saved or saved a different Republic guy. So he's still got that weird relationship with them where they want to. The one guy's like, I want to know what's up, what you know, but I'm letting you slide because you helped us out. I think that's the whole thing. But they get to display the sub light speed.
I thought that guy was one of the guys from the original movies in the 70s. The older guy who asked him, like, oh, no, you were here something too, because he looked so familiar and he looked so much older than the last I seen him.
Well, I thought
maybe he was from a movie.
No, he was in The Mandalorian. And he was like in that one part, a couple parts where Mando had a couple run-in with the New Republic. The whole idea is it's the New Republic, but it's only 10 years after Return of the Jedi, so they're still flying like the old school X-Wings. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and they're still, so they're offshoots.
They're like classic cars. They're talking about them like they're like old Mustangs or something.
Yeah.
Like,
So
these bad boys, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So the rebellion is like, the rebellion became the New Republic. And they're still kind of, I think they're as new as, the whatever the remnants of the Empire is. You know what I mean? They're kind of just getting their act. It's still early in the game for them. Some interesting theories. I got 2 interesting theories of where this might wind up. Okay? So, he runs into Fennec Shan, and I was kind of cool, dude. Like, we're just gonna have to coax him into. He's like, "Hey, tell him it's on the house." I thought that was pretty cool because Boba was a big help with Mando. So he's like, "Yeah, I'll help him." Cool. But so if Mando straight up said he's gonna go see Grogu, okay, there's a couple things because, like I said, the encounter with Luke, right? So now you sold us, Luke. You did it very carefully. You had him say very little. But now we've all bought into this Luke. The CGI face, the stand-in actor, all the stuff. It's like, okay, that's Luke. We're cool with that. So if Mando catches wind of what his mission is before he bolts out to go find Grogu, and then he's like talking to Luke, he goes, yeah, for somehow it gets to the thing, it's like, yeah, the Pikes are taking over Tatooine. Okay?
Yeah.
Tatooine's Luke's home. The other thing is Han Solo dealt with the Pikes in Solo. I still have to watch Solo and remember exactly what they did there because I just know they said, the Pikes are bad news. But the question is do you pull in Luke and Han Solo for this big battle on Tatooine? Is that enough to get them involved? It's not something. If I had said this like before that last episode of The Mandalorian, you wouldn't have believed it. But now anything's possible.
Yeah.
But that,
it really is. And they're doing the whole Pikes conversation in Mandalorian, like it was coming around his circle too.
Yeah.
When the girl was building the ship, she was telling the whole story about it, and she lost me on it too because like she's just rambling, and then all of a sudden I hear Pikes, and I'm like, oh, I need to be.
Yeah,
I think I might be missing stuff.
No, it's just like ever since the Pikes are like the whole place has gone to hell, which is true. So what is Luke's relationship with Tatooine? Like, how does he feel about that? Does that make it more of a tie-in? His friends.
It is his home. It's his home. That's enough.
Yeah, and now that's big. That's the biggest thing. But it's like it's possible, especially since they're like really focusing on like it looks like one way or another we're gonna see Grogu next episode. That's how I feel. To see Grogu,
I think we're gonna see
Luke.
Grogu. I think you see Grogu. I never thought we were gonna see Luke again, and maybe we'd see Luke again.
Yeah,
but I don't think so because it's so expensive to show Luke again, and it was such a big deal to have him in again that it's just been done, and I don't know that it pays to do it again. Maybe just a brief glimpse or a mention of him.
Yeah, maybe bringing him in again to save the day at the end, and it becomes every show you're waiting for Luke to come at the end. Clean up. Yeah,
exactly. Because then it's just because now you got like a formula. Like at the end, it's always okay. Which character are we going to see? But now but it's definitely seeing Luke would still be awesome. I'm not saying like it's fun. I don't want to see it again. I still want to see it. I'm just thinking myself trying to top Luke from Luke ending the one season. I don't see topping it. You know, I didn't even think about bringing in Han Solo, which is awesome too.
Yeah, because
They got Harrison Ford. We got a lot of footage of Harrison Ford.
Yeah, and I think he's filming
to make that happen.
He's filming in another Indiana Jones, I think. So he's hanging around the studio somewhere. You know what I mean? Like they might have threw him into like a face mapping device real quick, just to. I don't know. It's.
Oh no! You know what they did? Leia.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing virtual stuff anyway, well, no, because I'm sure Mark Hamill had to do a lot of like dubbing or something, or help them to make.
All Mark Hamill really did.
Pulled that out of no.
All Mark Hamill did was because they had a body double that did the acting, but Mark Hamill basically did the performance with the body double, so the body double mimicked Mark Hamill's performance. You know what I'm saying? So it was like Mark was making the moves because Mark's like, oh, hey, I'm Luke. But just because it's like, you know, just from being older, not that he's a big fat guy, but he's not what he was when he was 20, you know? So.
Yeah, but that's just coaching. It's not like, I'm saying he wasn't present. Was he needed to make the special effects happen?
No, they did it almost more to give it like the stamp of authenticity and to get him involved. But they really, everything they set up, they don't need him to do it. That's the real truth of it. They don't need him.
Yeah.
The whole voice was digital. I thought Mark dubbed his lines, but no, the whole voice is completely digital. So they basically have a CGI Luke with a CGI voice. You know?
Yeah, you know what? If you had to pick her three, Leia, if let's say that it ends with us seeing one of them. They did Leia after the actress passed away already.
Yeah.
In one of the last movies. So they did that. They did Luke. I think Han Solo would be the next one because young Han Solo, seeing him again.
Yeah.
Would be something.
And he's also got that history with Boba Fett, which would be interesting.
Yeah.
So, you know, whatever we think about Boba Fett's deal with Han, who knows what Han thinks about it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Han and Boba Fett crossing paths.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that would be awesome. I have a theory.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on Mandalorian and like the one that he fought against, that he had to battle against, and then he had the girl Mandalorian who was like the
armorer.
I don't know, the armorer.
Yeah.
I think that the armorer is going to turn out to be a bad guy. When she took the thing, the saber or whatever it is from him, the staff, to make the thing for Grogu, I just, for some reason, her taking that to do that, and then the thing that he's got for Grogu is in that little teeny bag. It's like, no, I bet she kept that thing that she was supposed to melt down and use for armor. I bet she kept that thing, and her kicking him out because he took off his helmet was messed up. You know what I mean? And like how she waited to do it because he was just about to win the battle. I think it's going to turn out that she seems to be against him.
I don't know. Because it was funny when she goes, have you ever taken, because when she was asking the first guy, I was already like, oh, this is going bad. Because I knew she was going to ask the second guy. I don't know. Their whole creed and everything.
Why'd she ask? Wasn't he winning when she asked him that?
No, they both finished. The duel was over. So that was just her way of saying, and she's done that conversation with the Mandalorian before. Like when he's brought back armor and he melted it down. So that's not a new conversation. You know what I mean?
Okay, that changed. I forgot that part because to bring that up then, I was like, I don't know.
No, it's almost like it's like their Mandalorian genuflect. Like after something happens, that's like it's like a swearing of the oath kind of thing.
Remember who you are or something.
Yeah, it's just like it's like repeat the creed kind of deal. Yeah. Now,
well, another reason I think that might be it is because I had that feeling with that, but then also I look at the IMDb because the voice sounded familiar, and I'm usually very good at getting voices, and I could not place it. They do kind of like tweak the character's voice because of the armor.
Yeah, they make it sound digital. Yeah.
In my defense, so I couldn't quite get it. I look it up, and she's an actress from Supernatural, which is the show that me and the kid were watching. That's Supernatural is on for like 20 years or something.
Okay.
And the show is and she was in it, and she was villain, and she was awesome in it.
Okay.
Like, you know what? If they cast her for this role, I know that's kind of a cheap way of coming, but I had this thought before I seen that was her. I'm like, okay, you know what? I got a hint of it. And now that I see that she was, this evil thing that was trying to destroy the world in Supernatural,
yeah,
they cast her for this. She went from that role to this. I'm like, Okay, I think I might be onto something.
Yeah, especially when it comes into play, like if you bring Bo-Katan, because they are a different. Death Watch has a lot of history. Like in the beginning, there was like a fight for power between them and the original Mandalorian. So there is some. It's eventually somebody's going to conflict with somebody there.
Yeah, something's being set up right there. That wasn't because otherwise, what was accomplished in that whole scene besides the fight? He made the present for Grogu out of the thing. He could have just went into the armory, dropped it off, and came back and grabbed it. That whole scene is going to come back. It's going to be that I think she's going to turn out to be bigger than we realize, and him and his, he's going to be on her side because we already see that, he thinks he's owed whatever because of his upbringing.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see a lot more from that storyline. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad he didn't lose the Darksaber there, because it's like if he's going to lose a Darksaber, it needs to be on his show. Even if you say whose is what, it shouldn't. That's a big changing. The new ship was cool because at least, if you miss it, your newest ship blew up last season. But I really doubt there's somebody that's watching Boba Fett that hasn't watched The Mandalorian. You know what I'm saying? I don't.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one like other theory, and it's very bold, but it could be like the shocking twist. Okay, it's nothing. Boba Fett takes the Darksaber from him, like duels him and wins, but because it would be bold.
That'd be awesome.
It would be awesome, but I don't see Boba. Like, what would Boba want to rule with Mandalore? There's like 6 of them around. It's like he's even said the planet was turned to glass, but it might change something, because even like the respect factor, like all of a sudden he's running the mob and he's just holding that Darksaber. So that would be like it would be bold, but it would be
big. That would be Boba Fett all of a sudden is like the head guy.
Yeah.
The assassin from the movies, the coolest character from the movies with the smallest part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
It's bold, but it would be like, whoa, like that would be where you don't have to bring in Luke or Han to do something crazy. You just all of a sudden make like let's do a crazy plot twist all of a sudden, and then
what if Boba turns a little dark side with it, and then that's what Mandalorian next season is Mandalorian trying to get it back.
Or all the Mandalore, and all of a sudden Boba Fett. Maybe there's a bigger plan that we knew. Like maybe it's the Mandalorians versus Boba Fett trying to retake Mandalore or something like that. That would be a cool, just change besides just going through the motions. Let's do some bold stuff.
I think you're onto it. And also, there's still a couple episodes left, so I was surprised to see Mando this soon. But like you said in the beginning, he deserves to be, because he was, he's a big part of this story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they're building up to next season. It's going to be both of them, on opposing sides. That'd be something.
Yeah. Almost like the Boba Fett show was a little interlude to complete, focus on Boba, but then get back to the bigger picture with Mandalorian. Like maybe Boba won't have a season 2 because he'll be a player in the Mandalorian show. That's,
Boba v. Mando.
Yeah,
would be a whole new thing. Oh, one thing before I gotta get going. One thing before we do that, we missed too. What about seeing the little Jawas again? How cool is that?
Yeah, I love this. And then Peli Moto said she dated one. I like that part.
Yeah, he's a day one. Yeah, and she's talking like them. That was awesome.
Yeah, she goes, "No thanks, I'm working on me right now."
Yeah, that was awesome. I forgot all about those things. There's so many off characters you forget about,
Yeah. Yeah, and Tatooine's just because the whole, A New Hope, basically the first half of the movie took place on Tatooine. That's why there's so much and then Phantom Menace took place on Tatooine. So there's so much that's been established already. Like I said, it was good to get off. And the big part the cool part was it made you miss Boba Fett. Because now it's I want to see Boba again next episode. Which was because all right, we got Mando here. Now I want to see these two interact. It was good. I think the episode was good it was an awesome episode, but I think it was awesome for the show as well. I think it was a good, It
was a setup. There's a lot of setup going on, and it kind of you step back and I felt that too. Like you're a little, as excited as I was to see Mando, you're a little bummed.
Yeah.
You're losing Boba Fett.
Yeah.
But now I bet the next episode is going to. I'm excited to see what happens next week. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, so am I. So, Bob, want to thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And of course, we'll see you guys next week.